Hi, this is Daniel Alpine, animation historian, and what I'll be doing now is given an audio commentary, which is me talking over a film and telling you all sorts of different historical facts and anecdotes. And I thought we can start with the very first Looney Tunes cartoon released in 1930, and the star is Bosco. The title of this cartoon is from the popular song Singing in the Bathtub, which Warner Brothers owned. And what should be noted is that the early Warner Brothers cartoons were done to market their song library. The character of Bosco first appeared in a short test film that Hugh and Rudy did, where the two funded it alone, and it was shopped to different studios before Leon Schlesinger took it and made the deal to distribute Hugh and Rudy's Looney Tunes cartoons, which was also the time that he signed a deal with Warner Brothers to provide their own theatrical cartoon series. While this is a shot in the dark, I think that these scenes and the other musical scenes in the cartoon were animated by Friz Freleng because he was known as the musical animator who would handle all the music scenes in the early cartoons. As we all know, Friz and Hugh and Rudy first worked for Walt Disney and eventually left to start their own series. And Friz would soon direct his own cartoons at Warner Brothers, and he would apply his musical knowledge to the timing of the cartoons. As you can see, this cartoon is very Disney influenced, from the character designs to the animation to the music, and even the novelty of inanimate objects being alive. But in contrast to Disney at this time, which either had to use public domain music or had to license out certain music for their cartoons, Warner Brothers had their own musical library that could be used in any cartoon that was produced at this time. There's Bosco's girlfriend, Honey, in her first appearance. As you can obviously tell, these two characters were copies of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse because those two were the most popular cartoon characters at this time. The voice of Bosco in this was by Carmen Maxwell, and something else that should be said is that while Hugh and Rudy try to keep what Bosco is under wraps, it's very obvious that the character is a blackface character in the style of the classic minstrel shows. And you can see that in his design, but also his stereotypical drawl way of speaking, which was typical in films at this time. Soon, the character's voice would be more falsetto, similar to Mickey, and a lot of those cartoons, the character was voiced by Johnny Murray. What retrospective critics have said about the characters of Bosco and Honey and their follow ups, Buddy and Foxy, was that these characters were fairly bland and didn't have a lot of personalities because these were copies of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. And the cartoons didn't tell that much of an interesting story in contrast to the early Mickey cartoons. But the Bosco cartoons were as popular as Mickey, partially because this was a time when audiences were more interested in seeing sound cartoons because of the novelty rather than seeing a story unfold or even to see interesting characters, because this was the time when films were moving from silent to sound, and that was enough to impress audiences at this time. Much of the animation for the cow in this scene is actually recycled from the first theatrical Oswald the Lucky Rabbit cartoon Trolley Troubles, which Hugh and Rudy worked on. Nice animation timed to the sound of the bell. Bugs Bunny would actually sing the song Singing in the Bathtub in two cartoons after this. While these cartoons vary in quality and were never able to catch up with Disney, still, these are better remembered for their historical values, and they're important for starting the Looney Tunes series. Eventually, thanks to the influence of Tex Avery, the series would head in a new direction that was more about comedy and jokes, and it would soon be the birthplace of the classic and more popular characters, starting with Porky Pig, and then soon Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny, Tweety Bird, and various others. Now we enter more animation from Charlie Troubles. Classic rubbery animation at its best. When this cartoon aired on Nickelodeon, it actually censored this scene because it's offensive. The car becomes a bathtub because, well, bathtub is in the title. Another classic last minute catch joke. Another classic trope is characters and objects hurling toward the audience, which was before 3D was even invented. And the song continues as we bid farewell for now to Bosco and Honey, and that's all, folks.